Hello and welcome to HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. Today's video is sponsored by our Amazon affiliate link, which you'll see in the description below. You'll also see in the description below any links to videos I mentioned in this video. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite plants. I really like plants that quote, perform for you. So the prayer plant, and it is botanically known as Maranta leuconeura, is one of those. So what happens with this plant is that it will fold up its leaves at night in a prayer position. So once the dusk starts to settle in, it will do that for you, which is very cool. So besides the fact that it's really eye-catching, so you can see with this plant, you've got beautiful foliage, the shape of the foliage, the variegation in the foliage. There are some different variations and varieties of the plant, of this plant, so it can be very stunning. They do get somewhat bigger as well. So I'm going to talk to you today about their care, and so that they perform well for you in terms of praying for you at night, but also in general just lighting up your indoors and they can become a real stunning focal point for you. So you may also too, if you wait near dusk, you may even be able to see them close up their leaves in the prayer position. It's a fun thing to wait to see, and of course you could always tape them, do a time release and that sort of thing, but it's more fun, and I've seen it happen when you see them go close. Also, you may hear them, so I may be near the plant at that time of day and I'll hear a kind of a rustling and a sound, and it actually does sound like something is kind of maybe brushing past the leaves, but it's actually the leaves themselves closing up. Okay, so about this plant, it is native to Brazil, and as mentioned, it has the beautiful foliage, and sometimes some patterns, they have different patterns with blotching and a thing that looks like kind of paintbrush had paint on it that was dripped on top of the leaves, and then some that are a little more patterned, and as this one is with the circular pattern of the two different colors and the color tones and that sort of thing. So it is, they will grow, as I mentioned, a little bit bigger, so they'll grow to in their native habitat, they'll grow to 12 to 15 inches tall. And you can actually, if you do take really good care of them, get them to about that size indoors as well with a more mature plant. So, however, they may not get quite that big. They could get about half that size. But just so you know that if you have a plant, a prayer plant that's growing bigger and bigger, it's a very happy plant. So how to keep them happy, how to keep them healthy. You want to provide bright indirect light, so they will tolerate some low light conditions, but they really do best with bright indirect light. So if your home's dim, supplement with full spectrum lighting. Without enough light, the leaves won't be as vibrant, they won't be as healthy, the plant won't grow as well, it still will close up. Pray at night. I'll probably be praying that you're giving it more light later on. As mentioned, you want to keep it away from, however, it does like bright indirect light. So you do want to keep it away from direct sunlight, because that can cause the leaves to become washed out looking, duller, they're lighter leaves. It also can cause sunburn on the leaves. So, and this guy was actually, I got this not too long ago, and there is a little bit of sunburn. I think this may be sunburn on the tip of that leaf. It can also be from dry conditions, but the fact that none of the other leaves really have that tells me that it was most likely in a place where it was getting some direct sunlight. So that, and a lot of times, however, it will be in the center of the leaves, and that turn brown, and it can also turn black. So you do want that bright indirect light. They do tolerate, however, being in a eastern window, because the morning sun is much more gentle on the plants, and it's not as bright, it's not as hot. So you could do eastern window, or you could do a few feet away from a southern window where it would be brighter, and they do love full spectrum lighting as well. So there's lots of options to keep your prayer plant happy with lighting. Okay, watering correctly. You want the plant to stay a little bit on the moist side, but never soggy. You don't want to be watering it every day like some plants. However, you don't want it to dry out all the way. So on your moisture meter, you probably don't want to get too close to the red. You want to be more, so usually on the moisture meter, 1 to 3 is red, 4 upwards is moist. I would say watering when it's squarely in 4, maybe even pushing on 5, but definitely lighter weight since you last watered, definitely less. You would not want to be watering when it's in the 6, 7, 8, 9 range, okay? So slightly moist, a little bit, somewhat moist, but not soggy. Okay, and always use warm water. Or tepid water, room temperature water, never cold water. These plants in particular, their roots are very susceptible to having too cold of water on their roots, which can cause things like root rot and dieback. And I do have a video on the water temperature and why it matters as well. Okay, feeding. You want to feed these guys regularly. So a well-balanced organic fertilizer that's designed for foliage plants, indoor plants. I do have a fertilizer that is over there that I'll show you in a second. So this is my Green Gourmet Houseplant Food Fertilizer. And this is a good choice for the prayer plants as well. So if you are looking for a well-balanced fertilizer that's organic. Okay, so you do want to refrain from fertilizing this plant in the winter months because it does need a little bit of rest. And I do have a video on how time of year does affect your houseplant growth, okay? So fertilize from March through September, maybe October if you've forgotten September, but then stop and then until March again. The humidity. Okay, so they do come from a very humid climate. They do enjoy humidity. If you live in a dry climate or you heat or air condition your home a lot, you'll need to humidify the air surrounding the plant. So you can put them on a humidity tray, which I have a video on. Also grouping plants. The more plants you have grouped together, the more the higher the humidity in that area for you. Because plants they transpire, which releases humidity into the air, and by doing that, what they're doing is they are then humidifying each other. So the more plants, the merrier. So get 3 prayer plants and they will all humidify each other, and other plants as well. They can be misted. Misting, I'm going to be doing a video on soon. Misting is a very short-term solution for giving humidity to your plants, but say you have your prayer plant next to your bed or maybe in your office, and you're able to humidify it throughout the day, and it's fun to humidify, and there's other good reasons to humidify as well, then go ahead and spray with a very fine mist as well. Okay, so watching out for pests and diseases with this plant. So they will occasionally get mealybugs, so they're white cottony pests. Treat them with isopropyl alcohol, then rinse with water. That's a good solution. I have some videos on treating mealybugs as well. So that is the one pest that I have found that does tend to find their foliage delectable. Other things that you could have were spider mites, but they like dry conditions. And if you you do get spider mites on your plants, on your prayer plant, you're probably that's a little bit too of dry conditions for them. Okay, so that is it on what you need to know to have healthy, happy prayer plants in your indoor garden. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor garden tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when we upload new videos.